What if I told you the man who walked away from one of the most powerful institutions in the world didn't lose anything at all? In fact, he may have gained everything. Because today, Prince Harry is no longer living under the shadow of royal tradition. He's living in something far more dangerous: freedom. And it's hidden behind the quiet, tree-lined streets of Montecito, California. At first glance, Montecito looks peaceful, almost ordinary. But behind its massive gates lies a world built for billionaires, celebrities, and power players. This is where privacy isn't a luxury, it's a currency. And Harry bought into it completely. Let's rewind to 2020, the moment that shocked the world. A prince stepping away from royalty. No warning, no precedent, no turning back. When Harry and Meghan Markle announced they were leaving the royal family, critics said one thing: they're giving up everything: power, status, protection, luxury. But what if that wasn't true? What if they were trading one kingdom for another? Because what Harry built in California isn't just a new life, it's a carefully designed empire. His Montecito estate isn't just a house, it's a $14+ million private compound designed like a Mediterranean dream. 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, miles of landscaped gardens, a private library, a wine cellar, a gym, a theater, and a pool that looks like it belongs in a 5-star resort. But here's what makes it more powerful than a palace. No one can enter unless he allows it. No press, no royal staff, no centuries-old rules, just silence and control. Think about that for a second. In places like Buckingham Palace, everything is structured, every move planned, every word calculated, every appearance expected. But in Montecito, Harry chooses everything: when he wakes up, where he goes, who he meets, what he says. That's not just luxury, that's power. And he's not alone. His neighbors, some of the most influential people in America. We're talking about names like Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, and tech billionaires you've probably never even seen on camera. In Montecito, influence is quiet, but it's everywhere. And then there's security, because freedom doesn't mean vulnerability. Harry's new life is protected by top-tier private security: black SUVs, surveillance systems, gated perimeters, the kind of protection that doesn't rely on governments. It relies on money, and lots of it. Which brings us to the real twist in this story. Where does all this wealth come from? Because Harry didn't just leave the royal family, he became financially independent. Through massive deals with companies like Netflix and Spotify, Harry and Meghan turned their story into a global brand. Documentaries, podcasts, media productions. Their life became content, and their content became millions. So instead of depending on royal funding, they built something far more modern: a celebrity-powered empire. But here's where things get interesting, because while Harry escaped the palace, he didn't escape attention. In fact, some would argue he created a different kind of spotlight, one where every move is still watched, just through a different lens. Not as a prince of the UK, but as a global celebrity in America. So the question becomes, did he really escape? Or did he simply change the rules of the game? Because in Montecito, there are no royal duties, but there are expectations. No palace schedules, but there's public curiosity. No crown, but still influence. And maybe that's the biggest transformation of all. Harry didn't just leave royalty, he redefined it. Think about it. A man born into tradition, now living in a world built on choice. A prince who once followed rules, now writes his own story. A life once controlled by history, now controlled by him. And yet, Behind the luxury, behind the palm trees, behind the quiet streets of Montecito, there's still one mystery that hasn't been answered. Is this truly freedom? Or just a more comfortable version of the same pressure? Because when you zoom out, Harry didn't walk away from power, he relocated it. From castles to California. From monarchy to media. From duty to independence. And maybe that's why his story fascinates the world. Not because he left everything behind, but because he proved something no royal ever had before. You don't need a crown to build a kingdom. So the next time you hear about Prince Harry, don't think about what he lost. Think about what he created. Because somewhere behind those gates in Montecito, a new kind of royal life is unfolding. Quieter, more private, more controlled, and maybe more powerful than ever before.